Hello guys, my name is Rastility, and my first video ever on this channel was comparing Accelerator and Golden Minigunner with each other, begging the question of who's better. However, since this was 7 months ago now, this video is super outdated. So, today, we'll be proposing the question yet again. Who is better, Golden Minigunner or Accelerator? I hope you enjoy. First off, let's talk about Golden Minigunner. Yep. This tower sucks. This tower had the highest DPS in the game's history before the Swarmer rework came along. Now, it just kinda sits in a bad spot in the Golden Tower tier list because it is outclassed in every department, and it is just not good in a lot of scenarios. Now, I don't really want to talk about the negatives here. I want to talk about the positives too, but, to be honest, this tower just doesn't have very many positives. So, let's get started. This tower is not stun immune in the slightest, making him completely vulnerable to attacks which will interrupt his DPS. It doesn't help that he also has to wind up before he shoots his bullets, making it take even longer for him to get back to firing if he gets revived or recovers from stun. This is already really bad considering the completely undeniable objective fact that all of the game modes have so much stun spam nowadays. This already makes towers like Ranger and Pursuit outclass him, even if he does have some of the highest DPS in the game. Speaking of high DPS, let's talk about that. So basically, he does 3,111.12 DPS with all 12 Golden Minigunners placed down, which does seem really good compared to towers like Accelerator, Ranger, and Pursuit. However, you gotta consider the fact that this costs 532,000 just to place down all 12 Golden Minigunners, compared to Accelerator's 415k. Also note that Golden Minigunner takes up so much space, like so much space. This means that you pretty much have to place your Golden Minigunners perfectly so you can put them in range of commanders, while also taking into account the absolute garbage range Golden Minigunner has. You quite literally cannot play with teammates either. This is because, number 1, he costs so much money to max out, number 2, he's going to take all of the space from your teammates, and number 3, his range is absolute trash. Also, like I said, he costs way too much to max out all 12. This means that you'll have no room to spend your cash on other things when you're playing with teammates. Heck, you might not even be able to max all 12 out at all. So let's break it down here. It costs 532,000 to place all 12 Golden Minigunners, which is way too much to spend in any mode that isn't solo. Keep in mind, you're also spending this much money on a tower that's going to be stun locked 95% of the time in the final waves of any difficult mode that isn't maybe Fallen. And the enemies fall out of range of your tower before it can do any good DPS because it only has 20 range for a 12 placement tower. This tower really does just suck. Now, let's talk about Accelerator. Originally, before this tower got a buff, I was going to absolutely trash on this tower. So, let me break it down for you. This tower is Golden Minigunner, except less expensive, less DPS, and less placements. Now, this tower does have massive DPS, being 364.08. If anyone tells you that this tower has 1000 DPS, they are wrong because they aren't considering charge up and overcharge cooldowns. However, even after this buff, let's be real. Why would you ever bring Accelerator over something like Ranger or Pursuit? Sure, out of Accelerator, Engineer, Pursuit, and Ranger, Accelerator by far has the most DPS, but like I think that's quite literally all I can say for Accelerator, cause this dude really is just a Golden Minigunner reskin, except he runs out of bullets and has to recharge, as much as people will disagree with me on that. Engineer has capabilities in all points of the game and can't be stunned. Pursuit has all detections, has infinite range, insane DPS, and also cannot be stunned. Ranger has incredible range and can be fully supported by towers such as Commander and DJ Booth. In the end, Accelerator just gets stunned as much as Golden Minigunner, does about as much DPS as Golden Minigunner, and costs nearly the same amount as Golden Minigunner. The only argument as to why Accelerator is still the option to use over anything else is because he has high DPS, which is already beaten by Swarmer, by the way, and because he fires for a shorter amount of times and charges up faster, making him better against stuns. However, you know what stun can also be countered by? Stun immune towers. So, to really answer the question, who's the better tower? Well, I'd say it's obviously Accelerator, because Golden Minigunner is going to constantly get his DPS interrupted, costs way more than any DPS in the game, has almost no range, and cannot be used in any mode that's not solo, and overall just sucks even though he has high DPS, which is already beaten by Swarmer. Accelerator, at the moment, is just much better than Golden Minigunner in every way imaginable. However, don't use either of these options in my opinion. Instead, use Engineer, Ranger, and Pursue instead. If you didn't already realize, the DPS meta for this game has evolved from whoever does the most damage while costing the least amount wins, to whoever doesn't die on the final wave wins. Because even though TDS isn't TDX and towers can't die, they might as well be dead when they're constantly being stunned every second. And also, Accelerator is just not a good option when playing with supports, because he doesn't get boosted nearly as much as other towers due to his overcharge and charge up. Thank you for watching this week's video. I really appreciate the support I've been getting recently. I've been growing so fast within the past week, and I can't thank you guys enough. I went from 550 subscribers all the way up to 700 subscribers now, so thank you very much. If you disagree with this video, dislike if you want, I don't really care. I try to be as honest as possible on this channel, and I don't really like to sugarcoat things like I did back on my first video. My name is Rastility. I hope